Okay, quick story time. My life has been a little bit weird as of late. Some of you may have noticed that I didn't put out my usual weekly video this week, and that's because I was hanging out in a hospital. And right off the bat, I am okay. I am happy and healthy, and I'm back at home now and good to go. But I figured I'd just give you a quick update because it was a really interesting point in my life. So last Friday, I wake up, I do a little bit of work, I have some breakfast, I get my wife up, and I'm feeling a little bit of pain in my chest on the left-hand side. At first, I think nothing of it, like maybe I just need to crack my chest or something along those lines, like, you know, all these weird little things that we feel in our bodies every day. But it persisted for a little while, and so eventually I brought it up to my wife, and she said, "Are you feeling any pain in your left arm as well?" Once I thought about it, I was feeling a bunch of pain down the left-hand side of down my left tricep, I should say. So immediately we think, okay, this could be something. We don't want to dismiss this. So we call the health line here. It's 811. You can call and kind of ask health questions and that kind of stuff. So we go through the rigmarole of being on hold with them. We ask them a bunch of questions, give them the kind of symptoms that I'm feeling. There was no other discomfort, which I think is usually associated with what you would assume, chest pain and the arm pain, thinking about it potentially being a heart attack, but there was no any other kind of symptoms that matched up with that. But regardless, the person on 811 told us that, you know, they take their, chest pain and anything to do with the heart very seriously. So they said, you need to get into emergency. So we went into the hospital. By the time that I got through the waiting process, which was, an hour and a half or something like that in the waiting room, and actually got into a room to see a doctor, the pain was gone at that point. But they ran a bunch of tests. They took some blood. They needed to monitor me over time. And what happened was they took the first round of blood tests, and then they needed to take a second set to see if things changed, because if things changed, that might indicate something. When they took the second one, they noticed that something called troponin had risen slightly, and that is an indicator that something might be going on with the heart. So they wanted me to stick around and see if it kept getting higher. And on the third test, it actually went down, but they were still a little bit unsure, and they don't want to send me home and have something bad happen when I'm not close enough for them to take care of me. So I ended up getting admitted into the cardiac unit so that they could basically monitor me. So at this point, no pain. I'm feeling basically 100% back to normal, and they admitted me into the cardiac unit just to observe, just to get hooked up to the monitor. Wow, okay. Just to be hooked up to the monitors and stuff so that they could observe what was going on with my heart. In the end, I was there for basically 5 days, and with again, no discomfort, nothing going on in the chest itself. In the end, they sent me home. I'm on a couple of medications that are more preventative or kind of being cautious than anything. What I've been diagnosed with is something called myocarditis, which is an inflammation of parts of the heart. And I don't claim to know everything about it or anything, but that's what they think it was. It's really interesting talking to the doctor and getting his thoughts on it, and they were super clear, and everybody at the U of A hospital here in Edmonton was fantastic, just absolute fantastic, dealing with me and being honest with me and being kind to me as well. Anyway, so the way that they kind of said it is they take a look at everything that they possibly can, and they try and take the best guess of what it was. But if the pain is not currently happening, if they can't see something currently happening, there's a chance that they might not know exactly what it is. So then they take a look at all the blood work and all the tests that they do. I went for a cardiac MRI. I did, I forget what it's called, but essentially an ultrasound of my heart. And they take a look at those things, and they're looking for any possible inflammation that may have caused this kind of episode. And they're thinking that the most likely thing is that it was this myocarditis specifically that could be from some kind of a virus or a bacteria that might have been in my stomach, because I had been feeling some kind of what I thought was probably just indigestion, or I ate something wrong or whatever for a day or two about a week before this happened. So sometimes what can happen is that can travel and it can cause some problems in the heart. So they're thinking that's what it was. That's how they're treating me right now. That's my official diagnosis, is this myocarditis. So as of right now, I feel completely normal. I can't do any strenuous activity for the next while, for 6 months essentially, and then I have to go in and do a stress test where they'll basically push me to my limit on a treadmill and take measurements and see how my heart is holding up. But other than that, like all the tests that they did, my heart is basically pristine. All my blood work came back pristine as well. So it's a weird thing. It was a hard. I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's like this. I feel like I was faced with my mortality kind of for the first time. I had a bad one-wheel accident a little while ago that I was going fast enough that I could have done some serious damage. I've had like skateboard accidents where, going 60 kilometers an hour on a highway and fallen and definitely could have done some serious damage. But I feel like this was the first time that I really felt like I faced my mortality. Like it's this weird thing where like my age and my physical condition, I'm not really at risk for anything bad to happen, but there are those weird outliers and you're just like, okay, anyone could be one of those weird outliers, including myself. And so and then there were some procedures that they kind of had on the table just in case for more testing and stuff that possibly have complications. And like I've just never been in the position where I might have to do something like that. And it was weird. There was a point there where I was like, when you don't know, when you're sitting there for 5 days and you're waiting for somebody to tell you what the heck is wrong with you, why you might have been feeling this way. There's no black and white to it. You're just sitting there kind of in limbo waiting for something to happen. And you're just like, is there a possibility that like out of nowhere, I'm just going to have a crazy heart attack and be gone? And that was weird. That was a strange feeling to have, a strange thought process to go through, fully realizing that that's like a small percentage chance. There's a good chance that this was like an isolated incident, like I said, because of a virus or a bacteria or something along those lines. Super strange thought processes, especially, get out of here, especially as somebody who's been dealing a lot lately, specifically with anxiety and stress. I've been trying to kind of bring down the stress level, and as much as sitting in a bed and watching Netflix for a couple of days was nice, not to be working, and definitely lowered the stress on that end of things, obviously there are other stressors in there that are now bopping around in my brain. And especially with the it wasn't like, oh, here's exactly what happened, we know exactly what happened. Basically it's like, here's what we think it might have been based on the data that we have, here's how we're going to go forward, but we're hedging our bets with some extra medication just in case it was some kind of a heart attack. That like living in that unsure place, that kind of limbo, is really strange, and it really makes you face your mortality. And as much as like this wasn't like, as far as I'm aware, it wasn't like a near-death experience or anything like that, it kind of makes you think about that stuff. Anyway, just thought I'd give you a little update, and just in case any of you are wondering where I've been on social media and why I didn't post a video this week. I am unsure whether I'll actually have one ready for next week, because obviously I've been out and haven't been able to plan and film and all that kind of stuff, but we'll see. And again, I'm okay, I'm doing well, and if you made it this far, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, I guess. Bye.